Minnesota in probably 20 years.
Bring gas. Welcome to Flagrant Howls, a Minnesota Timberwolves lifestyle podcast.
I flipped on ESPN this morning just to see, where would they put Lakers Wolves in the pecking order. So I flipped on Get Up, and I will say I love Get Up. Judd, you and I go way back with Greeny as a regular guest.
It's a fun show.
It's they do a good job. It's fun. It gets a little. Sometimes it feels like a parody. Sometimes, but sure enough, they led the show with Wolves Lakers Game 4 at Target Center, but they led it through the lens of Lakers meltdown, Lakers about to go home. What happened to the Lakers? And they showed like some of the Wolves highlights, the big review, the foul on LeBron. And so they get done with the highlight package, which again was tinted very much toward Lakers. And they bring in Brian Windhorst via satellite. Old Windy comes in here. All right, so Mike Greenberg. So what's going on? What's happening with the Lakers? LeBron, look at what's happening to the Lakers. And Windy, thank you, Windy, says, before we get into that, I just want to say Anthony Edwards has been the best player in this series. And he is the reason, the number one reason why the Wolves are up 3-1.
Good.
To answer your Lakers questions, blah, 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 blah.
Good for Windy. Draw a line in the bleeping sand. I also I saw this last night on Twitter too. Laker fans, livid at the officiating. Livid at how the officiating screwed the Lakers. It's unbelievable.
Dude. Okay, can we put a pin in that for just a second here because
I'll take it offline.
Well, yeah, we'll circle back.
Okay, let's do that. Okay? I mean, that's fine.
After we talk about MSP plumbing, heating, and air conditioning. Right?
Yeah, you know what? Much like Ant is the star of this particular first round series, MSP Plumbing, Heating, and Air, they are the star when you have any problems with any of the following. I mean, I've had furnace problems. Water heater replaced, water softener replaced, the hat trick of repairs, right? Sports Dad entrusted MSP Plumbing, Heating, and Air to do them all. And now I want to encourage you to do the same by joining their Total Comfort Club. Only $8 a month. You're going to get an AC tune-up, a furnace tune-up, and a plumbing check all included. You're going to get priority service. So if something goes wrong, guess what? They're at your doorstep like that. No waiting, no sweating, no fretting it. And if you need repairs, members get 10% off service. MSP Plumbing, Heating, and Air, absolutely outstanding. Give them a call, 651-615-4292, or check out their website, call MSP.com. Call MSP.com, get in the Total Comfort Club, and have a peace of mind from MSP Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
I know you have a pie chart of praise.
The Rock knows how you feel about pie.
Off of last night's win. But just real quick, on the bad calls, so yeah, you're right, Lakers fans are apoplectic right now.
I saw a video of a guy just swearing up a storm about how the team got bleeped.
Dude, I saw there was an account, it was some Lakers fan with like tens of thousands of followers on Twitter talking about how the game and the series are rigged against the Lakers.
It's rigged against the Wolves.
That's
what I saw.
The NBA has come together in a room and decided, no. We don't want LeBron, Luka, the LA TV market. We don't want any of that. The star power, the celebrities on TV that are courtside. We need to put an end to that before the second round. Let's collude. And the video clip he used was the missed kicked ball. There was a swing pass around to the left side of the court, like late in the game. And Jaden McDaniels threw his foot out. The ball grazed off his foot. It was a missed call. And the ball goes out of bounds. And the officials somehow thought that, like, I can't remember who was passing the ball, but it was like he just threw the ball out of bounds. He was trying to find LeBron in the corner. But I will say, earlier in that possession, I shouted this to you as it was happening. The Lakers committed an 8-second violation, uncalled, bringing the ball up. I think it was Luka bringing the ball up because Luka was so exhausted in the second part of that fourth quarter. 0 subs, historical. No team in the playoffs since player tracking began back in the mid-90s has ever not made a substitution in either half, and the Lakers did not sub anyone in the second half. So that missed kick should not have happened because the Lakers didn't cross half court until the 15-second mark on the shot clock. Should have been an 8-second violation. The other ones that Laker fans are complaining about, the call at the end of the game, LeBron hacking Anthony Edwards, well, I mean, I don't know how many times you have to see it in 4K definition at slow speed. Hand is part of the ball. Wrist is not part of the ball. So that was a great overturn. And then the other one, I think like the one that JJ Redick was apoplectic about in the postgame was that Luka was quote unquote tripped. And it was kind of bang bang in the moment. Like, ooh, yeah, it looked like, no, Luka, who again was completely gassed and unable to even like control himself in these possessions at the end. He was so tired. Luka stepped on Jaden McDaniels' foot.
He did.
So, sorry. I mean, there's a lot of things to talk about in this series. I think officiating slanted toward Timberwolves is probably not something I would put on the list.
Could we someday have a series in which neither team advances because it's rigged so that both lose?
Yeah, sorry, we're just going to send both you guys home.
No one's going, we tried to rig this thing. We couldn't decide which way. We rigged it both ways, so you're both out.
Whoever wins the Rockets-Warriors series gets an automatic bye to the Western Conference Finals. We don't want either one of these two teams to advance to the
I get frustrated by Wolves fans as well, but I find it hilarious that Lakers fans, the Lakers of all teams, right?
Yeah.
The officiating wants Ant to advance. And by the way, kudos to the Wolves for finally having a player who the opposing fans, especially the Lakers fans, think there might be a conspiracy theory for.
That's true.
The
league just wants Anthony Edwards to ascend.
The league wanted Rashad McCants to advance.
Rashad McCants. Oh, man. Quite the podcaster these days, though, Rashad McCants.
Good for him. Awesome.
So, okay, well, Judd.
The Rock knows how you feel about
You've got your pie chart of praise off of a Game 4 victory. Wolves up 3-0. Let's do it.
All right, I have 6 pieces of pie. 6 pieces of pie. I've done the math probably 5-6 times just to make sure that it comes out to 100%. So I'm fairly confident, not totally confident, fairly confident that it's going to add up, okay?
That's the real drama here. The real
keep
drama
track at home.
The real drama isn't who deserves the most credit for this win. It's will Judd land the math plane.
Exactly right. So keep track, keep score at home as well so that you know Sports Dad is right or wrong. 5%. The aforementioned JJ Redick. Yes, that's right. The Lakers coach. I'm going to give him a 5% slice for doing what Phil said, which is playing only 5 guys in the second half the entire time. The first time since tracking started that this has happened. One direct result, for instance, was Luka. 1 for 6 from the field and 0 for 2 from 3. 7 points in the fourth quarter as the Wolves outscored the Lakers 32-19. Now remember, the Lakers went into, because this move actually worked for a quarter. The Lakers went into the fourth quarter up by 10. But the reality was, I mean, LeBron, God bless him, but he didn't score a point in the fourth. He's 40. Luka's out of shape, not to mention he was still sick. Not as bad as Friday night. But, I mean, Luka had no legs. Like, that was the one thing. You didn't get him a minute off, which, by the way, yes, it's on Luka to get in better shape. But you know exactly, like he is right now, he is the greatest version on the basketball floor of Winnie the Pooh I've ever seen. Like, he looks like Pooh Bear.
Eating honey as he...
Yeah, well, yeah, could you not see him and Piglet, like, at mid-court, like, being like, oh, just a bit of honey.
Luke's just pounding some IPAs and honey?
Yeah. Yes, exactly. But, I mean, 1 of 6, 0 of 2 from 3 in the fourth quarter. His legs were completely shot. The other problem, too, is when he handles the ball, which they, of course, asked him to a lot, and he's tired, he handles the ball like it's a grenade.
Dude, and then
it's like this.
Yeah, what happened? Yes, what happened a couple times too is he would cross half court. It's like he crossed the marathon finish line, just getting to the half court line with still 16 seconds on the shot clock. Oh God, okay, I avoided the 8-second violation.
Yes,
and then the Wolves, who were still fairly fresh-legged. I mean, they were tired too, but like more fresh-legged than the Lakers, who did not sub again. They would instantly trap him the minute he crossed half court, and now he's in decision mode and oftentimes he'd still throw the right pass at the right time, and it would put the Wolves in a spin cycle. Even when he's exhausted, he's still making some shots and making the right passes. LeBron was trying to get extra rest on some of those offensive possessions because he's like chasing down, blocking Dante DiVincenzo, and he's trying to, all right, I got 24 seconds to catch a breath while Luka runs the offense over here. And so he wound up not scoring at all in the fourth quarter. But yeah, JJ Redick, that was a referendum on what he thinks of this series right now, which is I don't trust anybody else. We have 5 playable players in the series. But if we can get this game in Minnesota, even the series at 2, get the 72 hours between games 4 and games 5. I understand why he did it, even though it's one of the boldest things an NBA head coach has ever done in the playoffs. It now backfired, and I don't know what their next chess move is. I guess their chess moves are rest up Luka and LeBron and have those guys ascend to be the 2 best players in the series for the final 3 games and hope that you can go on a 3-game winning streak. But the problem is between, let's say they get game 5. Now you're traveling for game 6 and game 7 back and forth.
Yeah.
And it's only 48 hours between game 6 and game 7.
I thought about this some more last night because JJ is a very, very smart, pretty cantankerous guy. And this was for 2 quarters, I think this was also because they're not going to make a run. The Lakers are not winning a championship. I think that this was a very direct message to Rob Pelinka of, okay, this is what you gave me. I'm going to play what you gave me. And
he should be grateful for what Rob Pelinka gave him, though.
Well, right. No, but I'm saying as far as the depth goes, like there's no depth.
At one point, about 12 seconds left in the third quarter, so near the end of 3. According to ESPN Analytics, the Lakers had a 92.2% chance to win that game. So they win that game 9 out of 10 times, but they were absolutely gassed by the time the fourth quarter rolled around.
Here's why that percentage is wrong. It doesn't take into effect that you aren't subbing anyone for the entire second half.
Right.
It doesn't take into account that Luka Doncic was hunched over a bucket or a toilet a day and a half earlier, and that LeBron James is 40 years old playing 46 minutes in the first round. Dude, you're playing those dudes 46 minutes in game 4 of the first round?
Well, and it also can't factor in that you have a guy who, at least in the regular season in clutch time, was very meh and might be becoming one of the greatest clutch time playoff players we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, that would be one Anthony Edwards.
Oh, you know his name. Okay, another 5%.
How you feel about pie?
Another 5% goes to the fans at Target Center. 19,289 strong, and as Phil can attest, there were a lot of times in that game where you could not hear yourself think. Down by 10 points, guess what? Undeterred. The fans have been, and it sounded like, although because of the draft, both of us weren't there, Friday night was unbelievable as well. I did see some feedback that Sunday was louder than Friday, but again, Wolves fans absolutely bringing it, and it might not win you the game, but it sure as hell gives you an advantage. So Wolves fans get 5%. So Redick and Wolves fans each take home 5%.
Yeah. How did it? I mean, we were there, Dex, through the TV. How did the crowd sort of sound and come off?
Loud, raucous. It looked like an incredible environment. And I don't know if you guys have kind of noticed this too. I like Doris a lot. She wasn't on the call yesterday. I believe it was Richard Jefferson. But
no, Doris. What? I thought Doris
was
on
the call yesterday.
Yeah, I think it was Breen, Jefferson,
right?
and Doris for both Friday
right.
and Sunday.
Yes. And I see commentary like, oh, they're just rooting for the Lakers. They don't care about the Wolves and that type of stuff. But they were saying numerous times how loud and crazy it was inside Target Center. So yes, it seemed on television like it was a great place to be.
It's raucous, yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, we're up to the 10% chunks. There's going to be 3 of those. The first one goes to Nas Reed. Now, Chris Finch postgame had the great quote about Nas was great in the fourth quarter and has been, but I told him if he wants to start to show up for the first 3, he's welcome to. So it's only a 10%. It was I started this one at 15%, and then I watched the presser and I'm like, that's a pretty good point. So I dialed it back down to 10. Yeah. But in the fourth quarter, Nas Reed, 8 of his 12 points, 2 enormous threes, absolutely huge. He made 3 of his 4 shots, though, in the fourth. So he had made only 1 basket in the first 3 quarters. The Wolves, long story short, to win a championship, I think the Wolves do need more from Nas overall, but he still gets a big chunk because, again, this team was terrible in clutch time all season long. The last 2 games, they've been great, and knocking down those 2 threes was a huge, huge part of the win.
Might have lost old Macadac there as our internet gremlins
formulating a thought.
It's very, very poignant. He's
got
good. Takes. Yep, he's got takes. He's got things he wants to talk about it. But I think we'll get Phil back in here in just a sec. But on Nas too. I mean, yeah, the fourth quarter from a lot of different guys, I thought obviously showed up big time. Yeah, they need. Dante hasn't found his offensive shot, but still brings the energy and things. They need, even though the Wolves are deeper and Chris Finch can luckily deploy multiple players, unlike JJ Redick can. They do need a couple more complete performances from their bench. They need a couple more of those guys to play the full 48 minutes, etc.
Absolutely, yeah. And Nas is the Nas clutch time was great. We talked about this on the postgame show. Hey, welcome back, Phil.
I think the storms are a brewing out here in the Twin Cities.
The internet is
for the Lakers and for my internet, apparently.
Unfortunately, I'm next. So yes, Nas Reed 10% based on 1 quarter of play, but it was one very important quarter.
Yeah. One thing to add, I did hear most of that. I don't know. Then the wheels start spinning on here, but it's kind of crazy that it feels to me like the Lakers have thrown almost everything they can at the Wolves. I'm not saying they've played a complete perfect game yet, but they've thrown a lot of stuff at the Wolves. They've thrown a couple of throwback LeBron games. The last 2 games, the Lakers have shot 87 threes and have made 41% of them. So they're hitting just a barrage of 3-pointers. They've played some really good lockdown defense at times. And the Wolves have won those games anyways. And Dante DiVincenzo is shooting like 35% on the series. Nas Reed has disappeared for long stretches of the series. So like I don't feel like the Wolves have completely brought their A game outside of maybe like quarters 2 through 4 of game 1.
All right, second 10% chunk goes to the grinder, the guy who is, I would start to call him now a glue guy. He's a glue guy. Jaden McDaniels. 16 points, a team-high 11 boards. Gobert had 10, Jaden had 11, 3 assists, and then with 30.3 seconds left, he's the guy that stole the ball from LeBron James on the inbound that set up in motion the whole thing, with James eventually being called for a foul on Ant on that ball that went out of bounds. Jaden McDaniels, even when he doesn't score a ton, contributes something. Yeah. And his defense, outstanding. His work ethic, outstanding. His willingness to repeatedly go to the basket, which, Phil, you've been calling for months, but his willingness to do so in the playoffs. He didn't have any stats that necessarily jumped off the game book at you. But when you looked at the totality of what he did and you throw in that steal of James inbound, huge day, I thought, for Jaden McDaniels.
Yeah, I think he actually, my favorite stat is that he led all players on both sides with the best taunt of the game. Remember that play where, so Wolves are in the half court and Luka falls down in the paint and he's crying foul and he's writhing around and he's just laying, there's a half court possession happening. He's just laying in the paint trying to get a whistle. And his guy, Jaden McDaniels, is wide open in the corner and Jaden cashes a 3, I'm pretty sure. And so Jaden kind of runs back on defense and he passes the half court line and Luka's still on the ground and the camera cuts to Jaden, and I have to edit this. But he essentially looks at Luka and says, "Get your ass up." And then he uses a word that the three of us should not use, but it was a great taunt.
There's a phenomenal photo from Carlos Gonzalez of the Star Tribune from on top of the basket, literally looking down, and Luka's literally looks like he just got, punched in the mouth, and Jaden's watching the ball go in. There's an awesome photo circulating the internet this morning of it.
Yeah, JJ Redick after the game talking about the trip that happened with where Luka stepped on Jaden's foot. And I'm paraphrasing because I don't have it in front of me here, but he said essentially it was a trip. It was obviously a trip. Luka doesn't just fall down on his own. And I would like to contest that. We could maybe debate the trip, but not really because he stepped on Jaden's foot. But I will strongly contest the idea that Luka doesn't just, quote, fall down on his own. He falls down on his own 10 times a game
I was going to
minimum.
say, if there's diving traction like a stat, Luka's top 2.
Yes.
He
Him and
dives more
probably
than
Shea
anybody.
Gilgeous-Alexander would be in
Yeah.
the top 3 in there somewhere too.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so that's
Rock knows how you
one
feel
more
about
10% chunk left, and that goes to Chris Finch, who I felt again pushed a lot of the right buttons, and also probably most importantly, he had, despite some questionable calls, which every game is filled with them, he had preserved the challenge for the absolute perfect time when the LeBron play took place. That is why, JJ Redick, you don't get mad in like the second quarter and trigger a challenge. I know that can lead to a basket, and that's fine, but the reality is there are challenges need to be used probably, especially in playoffs, in very strategic ways, and it's not just, oh, we got screwed, because without that challenge, which I believe was the exact play last year against the Suns, right? Where the Wolves or the Mavericks, the Mavericks, where the Wolves challenged, but they couldn't. They changed that rule now, so you can identify and call the foul. So Chris Finch gets 10%, largely based on helping win that game by having that challenge in his back pocket.
It was quite the night for old Finchy. We were in the pregame press conference session, and I don't know how this works if officials listen to the pregame press conferences. I'm sure there's conversations kind of offline, but he set the tone leading up to the game, talking about how they don't call fouls on Anthony Edwards when he drives to the rim at the same rate that other players do. Part of it is guys like LeBron and Luka have mastered the art of manipulating officials into, hey, that was gray area contact, but I'm gonna flail like a grenade went off and make you call it. Like Anthony Edwards doesn't really do that. Julius Randle doesn't really do it. Those guys just kind of absorb contact and try to keep going on their way to the rim. So he lays the groundwork for that. Anthony Edwards winds up shooting 15 free throws after shooting none, I think, in game 3. And even with some of the lineup comment, like you mentioned, the keeping the challenge, there was probably 5 or 6 other things that he could have challenged, but he decided, let's keep one of these in our pocket for a super high leverage spot late in a physical game, and he was right about that. Great self-restraint. But even some of the lineup combinations, early in the second quarter, I don't know that the Wolves, someone can check us on this, but I don't know that I've seen this lineup in a regular season game. It's the biggest lineup that they can pretty much put on the court. Rudy, Randle, Nas Reed at the 3, Jaden at the 2, and Anthony Edwards playing point ant for like 2 or 3 minutes. I think they played those minutes kind of break even, but I love that he was in his bag with these lineup combinations, saying, well, I mean, they basically have one lineup they feel comfortable with. Let's see how they do against the biggest possible lineup that we can put out there, where 4 of our guys are taller than their tallest guy.
Yep.
And then to end the last 2 games with your Nas Reed lineup, your offense, sort of spread them out, 5-out lineup, and have Rudy on the bench. And by the way, I think Rudy and Conley are super cool with it. Yep, we can contribute in our own way for 25 minutes. And if you need to close with something else, there's no egos here. Let's go beat the Lakers. So yeah, major credit to Chris Finch.
So if Gobert is playing better, they probably don't use that combination, right? With the 3 bigs.
I mean, they've closed a lot of games with Gobert on the court, like when they feel like we need defense, but it also kind of felt like if you could just get on a run of some 3-pointers here or open up the paint for Ant to get to the rim and get to the free throw line.
Right.
If you can just get to like 110 points, it wound up being, I think 116 was the winner. So he's constantly trying to navigate in the last like 5 to 6 minutes of a game. Do you need to stop them from scoring more, or do you need to go on a little bit of a run? And because they were down by like 7 points just before the 5-minute mark, he said, let's put Nas Reed out there and see if this guy can knock down a couple threes. And
sure enough,
his impulse was correct.
All right, we now graduate to a 15% and penultimate slice of pie. That's going to Julius Randle. So he didn't do a ton scoring-wise in the second half, but in the first half, he was probably next to Ant, the Wolves' most important player. Had 21 of his 25 points in the first half. And for the game, 7 boards, 3 assists, 42 minutes of play. Playoff Julius, who we were told, oh, you just wait till the playoffs. It's not going to be any good. He wasn't with the Knicks. Now, he was hurt last spring, so he didn't play in those. But we were told, Julius Randle, you're going to have problems here. Julius Randle has been, I think, impressive. He has played his game, and yesterday he was definitely the Robin to Ant's Batman in the opening half.
Super physical. He's also a guy that can just kind of get to the line or get you a bucket in a moment where, oh man, they just pushed the lead to 10. You really just need to get it to 8 for a second so it doesn't balloon to 15. And he has done a great job, I feel like, in all those little moments. And he can get a little, I don't know that I need him taking 8 threes in a game. He gets a little happy he settles for some threes.
Yep.
And then on defense, it's a battle out there, man. You got these Hall of Famers that are in their offensive bag, and he can kind of body up Luka. He can body up LeBron and just give them a physical presence. So even if they score, he just makes it harder. So I've been impressed just as much with his defensive presence as some of the offense that he's been giving the Wolves.
He's a pro. He's just a pro.
He is.
And I like the fact, too, that, and this is not to in any way, shape, or form take digs at anyone who's gone, but you know what I like about him, too? I like the fact that he gets mad about stuff, and he is competitive as hell, but he does not, his demeanor never, like, takes the Wolves down, like, what's going on? What's happened? Why? Dragging the team down. You know what? I hate excuses. Now, I don't mind if you get mad, but if you whine and pout and bitch and moan, I get very tired of that. And in the playoffs, I think that's a huge problem.
Yeah.
Julius just brings, and quite frankly, he's not playing great offensively, as both you and Deck said, but Dante, same exact way. No matter how it's going, they're professionals.
Yeah, and they're two-way guys. Like they're gonna steal a pass. They're gonna poke a ball away. They're gonna do little things on the other end too. I'll give you a sneaky stat here, because remember in game 1, Julius Randle turned the ball over 7 times.
Yep.
Julius Randle and Anthony Edwards combined to play 87 minutes in that game yesterday. 1 turnover.
Yeah.
Those are your primary ball handlers and initiators. And they played 87 minutes with 1 turnover. 0 turnovers for Julius Randle in 43 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, it's,
crazy.
Absolutely huge. Absolutely huge. Okay. Not surprisingly, that leaves 1 slice of pie left. And yes, we're done with 5. And there's not the distribution. What's going on?
I feel like you've already crashed the math plane here a little bit, because you said it was a 6-slice pie chart.
Uh-huh.
We've already done 6 slices. This would be the 7th slice here.
Oh, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, you're right. It was 7 slices.
But
See?
your math, I think your.
But my math is on.
What's your number? Is it 40? Is it 45?
45%.
So your math is.
So my math is on. I counted wrong.
Somehow.
I counted wrong. See, math gets me one way or the other. Like, that's the thing is, I got one thing right and I screwed up. I should have counted more.
No stones.
Also, you listen, man. They've been reducing staff in the pie chart, air traffic
well, when
control
we started
center,
this, here's the problem. I did the math last night, but I didn't look at the slices of pie until we started. And so, while you were talking to open the show, I quickly counted twice and came up with 6. But the problem is, I've got a statistic at the end of the pie chart that I didn't count, and so it's a me problem.
The Rock
it's a me
knows
problem.
how you feel about pie.
But alas, we have a 45% chunk that goes to the best player in the series thus far, a player who, again, is turning out to be a clutch time hero in the playoffs. Ant Edwards, 43 points. Okay, that's really good. 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 44 minutes of play, 16 of the points, 4 of the rebounds, and 2 of the assists came in the fourth quarter. And again, the Wolves went into the quarter trailing by 10. The head-to-head with LeBron in the first half, in which he purposely, very, very deliberately created for his teammates and everyone to see, I ain't backing down. We might be friends, but I ain't backing down. Showed the competitive fire, dare I say, of Jordan. Like that was a very Jordan thing. He was making a point. He is I have no idea about him off the floor as a person, but on the floor, he is another one of these guys who is, I think, an incredibly smart basketball player. And when he focuses himself, he does things like that LeBron thing, because it didn't really continue. He, on 2 back-to-back possessions, he wanted to make a statement. And I thought it was huge.
The Wolves
Huge.
have clearly gone into this series the way that they are talking to LeBron and Luka and some of the things that they're saying. I'm not, and again, like, there's a gray area here of like what's dirty, what's not. Gobert sticking the elbow in the back of
That
LeBron's
bothered me
neck
more
that
than-
got called a flagrant, but
Yeah.
but it's all part of the idea that the Wolves are not intimidated by LeBron and Luka or the Lakers, and they are actively trying to make those guys uncomfortable with their talk, with their actions. The Anthony Edwards stuff, like, he was trying to pick up a foul. He was essentially saying, the Lakers think they can come in here and kind of shove us around. I'm going to show them that they can't. Get the crowd involved. It's worth an off-ball foul in this moment. I'm going to clap the bench. He spent the rest of the half and the game chirping at the Lakers bench. So, yeah, he's been a monster. I think we kind of went over this last night in the post-game show, but if you had to re-rank the 10 best players in the series, the only way the Lakers were going to win the series is if at the end of the series you said Luka's the best player, LeBron's the second best player, and Austin Reeves at minimum is the 4th best player. Maybe Ant sneaks in there at 3. If that happened, you'd say, all right, yeah, maybe the Lakers, just the top-heavy nature of it, would win the series. But if you ranked them through 4 games, it's Anthony Edwards number 1, probably Luka probably LeBron number 2 in the series.
Yep.
And then Luka number 3, Julius Randle probably 4.
Yeah. Yes.
Or Jaden, and then Jaden 5. You could even debate some of the other guys before you got to Austin Reeves, but like the Wolves have jumped up that ladder through the first 4 games compared to what we thought a week and a half ago.
But taking the box scores away, just eye test wise, I think it is very clear that it is Ant like 1, and then 2 in the series to me isn't like 2. It's like 3 steps down.
Yeah.
Like Doncic's box scores are great, but when you watch these games, like when you watched game 4, at the end of the day, Luka got his points, but Anthony Edwards put his thumbprint. Like, he literally took his thumbprint and put it on the series again yesterday.
Yes. Couple other things to get to here. So that's Judd's pie chart right there.
Brock knows
7
how you
pieces.
feel about
7
Not
pieces.
totally
I said
sure.
I said it all along.
We're not totally sure what to verify, if it was 7 or if it was 9. I don't know. The audience can go back. But
7.
a couple things to run by you guys before we wrap the episode here. First of all, Bricksworth in the North Loop has become such a fun place before and after Wolves games and for road games too. So if you haven't stopped by Bricksworth, Flagrant Howls listeners and Wolves fans, make sure you do so and try some of the best dry rub wings in town, Detroit-style pizza. They got the signature Nas Reed Hazy IPA that you can drink as well. World-renowned craft beer at Bricksworth. If you do see our friend, the owner of the joint, Cooper, make sure you say hi. Huge Wolves
Great
fan
guy.
and huge supporter of Flagrant Howls and all of our Score North podcasts. So Bricksworth just steps away from Target Center. And Neos Elite Performance, if you are an out-of-shape athlete looking to come back from down 3 games to 1, I think we can help you.
Yes. In fact, this would be perfect, and I think someday it will be ideal for Doncic, because the experts at Neos Elite Performance can help you get back on track from chronic pain. So if you used to play basketball, for instance, or golf, and now it hurts too much, Neos Elite has cutting-edge regenerative medicine and cellular IV therapy that's designed to get you going again. And here's the nice thing: no invasive procedures. This is what they call white glove service. So the team at Neos is going to come to you. No trips to the doctors, no trips to the hospital. They're going to come to you. They're going to get you back on track. So stop the suffering today. Get back on the golf course. Get back on the court. Neos' therapies designed to reduce pain, restore function, and get you back to doing what you love. And now, a special as well, if you mention our flagship show, Purple Daily, you get $500 off a cellular IV therapy treatment. That's right, $500 off, no surgery, no downtime, just results. All you have to do is check out their website, neoselite.com, Neos elite.com. You'll find out a lot of former pro athletes, you'll find testimonials, and you'll find out why Neos can help you get back to doing what you love.
Okay, credit to our guy Alan Horton, the radio voice of the Timberwolves, longtime radio voice.
Puts out great stats, by the way, on Twitter.
His
Follow him if you don't.
Clowning of Luka in Game 3. I listened to the first half on the drive home from the Twins game this week. Literally, I was laughing out loud driving home. He was just on him the entire game. Oh, it was so good.
He's the best, man. We had a chance to catch up pregame for like 20 minutes yesterday, and Jim Pete's joining him when they're on ABC. Yeah. You can't run the local telecast, and so Jim Pete, it's a treat to hear those guys together doing games. And by the way, when you see, just another shout out to Horton before I get to the stat he tweeted out. He puts out these clips of like the TV footage with the radio call behind it. And Kyle Tige was hanging out with us before the game too, and he said, and he goes, Alan, who puts those together? It's really cool when they layer those. He goes, I do that. I get done with the broadcast, and like he spends all that extra time, taking the clip of his call and putting it with the visual, and it's awesome. And he's one of the best in the business. But so in clutch time, again, the Wolves were one of the worst clutch time teams in the regular season. 5 minutes to go, 5-point game or closer. They had like 26 clutch time losses this year. Well, in 2 clutch time games in the series, the Wolves have outscored the Lakers 25-11 in those periods. The Lakers are shooting 33% from the field, while the Wolves are shooting 68% from the field. The Wolves have 9 rebounds, Lakers 4. Wolves are 7 of 7 from the free throw line. Lakers 0 for 1 from the free throw line, just settling for jumpers, not getting to the rim. Just an absolute decimation in clutch time of LeBron James and Luka Doncic in this series. Super impressive.
I told you before the playoffs started, I had a feeling about this. I just had this weird feeling, largely because of Ant. I think Ant has a gear that he doesn't go to until now. And
he goes to it sometimes in the regular season.
Sometimes, but not like
against
this.
The Pacers backups on a Tuesday.
You know what, though? I feel like when Ant has, I feel like a lot of his most successful games in the regular season are just his talent, and he applies himself. There's a level of just, I don't know what it is, just dagger that I feel like we're seeing now. And it's what I think it's why, and I don't blame fans as much, but a year ago, the Suns, right? Suns are going to beat the Wolves, no question about it. I mean, they got KD. Okay, well then Ant sort of showed you what Ant is, and even this year, same thing, right? The Wolves can't beat. I mean, look at this, they can't beat. But I mean, Ant takes it. It's dare I say, like Jordan-esque, I said before, but Kobe-esque.
It's Kobe.
With just this, I'm going to kill. Like, he said, LeBron is like a brother. LeBron helped me at the Olympics. I was under his wing. And he doesn't flinch from him.
He's fun-loving Kobe. I hate the Jordan comparisons because, like, that's such a different level. But he's fun-loving Kobe. They both have that black mamba, dark side of their personality where they scowl and they'll step up to guys.
Yeah.
But then Ant has this like glowing, fun kind of joke around side of his personality that you didn't really see as much from Kobe until he was done playing.
Yeah. Whatever it is, it's fun to watch. It's unbelievable.
One last thing to your point, like kind of projecting before the series, we were all a little baffled that like, why does everyone think that the Lakers are so heavily favored and that the Lakers are going to win this thing in 5 or 6 when the Wolves have been the better team since the Luka trade in almost every measurable category. The Wolves, I'm literally looking at my notes from before the series started and like what we were talking about. The Wolves were deeper with more lineup combinations and levers to pull that, okay, you get to game 2, game 3, that's not working. Okay, let's go to this. The Wolves had many more options for let's go to this than the Lakers have had. And then to your point too, playoff Anthony Edwards shows up the last 3 years. He's one of the best players in the world in the playoffs over the 25 or 30 playoff games he's played. So I don't know, when I personally said Wolves in 6 or fewer, it felt really reasoned and logical. And now that you're seeing it play out, yeah, like this is kind of like Lakers are putting up a fight. You're getting some all-time punches from LeBron at times, and Luka's pouring in some shots. But like, all right, unless Rui Hachimura is going to dig for 23 points for all 3 of these next games, or Austin Reeves is going to be able to figure out how to solve Anthony Edwards, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Jaden McDaniels, etc. on defense. Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of as expected so far.
I don't want to push. I don't want to cause bad luck here, but can you see this depleted of Lakers team winning 3 games? I mean, I can certainly see them winning Game 5, but at some point in time, I mean, again, LeBron's no kid and Luka's not in shape.
I think it feels to me like the Lakers emptied their bag in Games 3 and Games 4.
Yeah.
I think it is more likely that the Wolves close out Game 5 by double digits than this thing gets to a Game 7. Because I think there's some things that the Lakers have done that aren't necessarily likely to happen. Like, are they going to keep shooting 41% on high volume from 3? Or are they maybe due to have an off night? If they have an off night from 3, the Wolves are winning by 15 points.
Right. And I don't see the Wolves, and Ant in particular, easing up at all. I don't see. That's the thing is Ant sort of he's not sort of. Ant is an unusual athlete in this town because we've had some regular season dynamos, right? But like the biggest comparison I can draw from an athlete in our state for the 4 big men's professional teams is Puckett, who again was a fun, loved by all guy, right? But when the pressure upped, he got better. And so I think Ant is going to implore his teammates, let's go gas pedal in Game 5. And I think if they do that, it's in the Lakers' best interest probably to go golfing.
Does Luka golf?
Well, he can go to the bar and
I feel
drink
like a lot of NBA players don't golf as much. It's hard to find clubs that are fitted for.
Well, then they can go.
6'10".
Then they can go do something else. Go to Cancun, whatever they want to do. But I don't see a path here when you're playing the same lineup for 24 minutes straight. I don't see a path to 3 wins.
Yep. So we'll see. We'll see. A couple days off, and then we'll be back with a late night because it's a late night tip off in Los Angeles on Wednesday, and so we'll be live on the Score North YouTube channel with another post game Flagrant Howls. Definitely another episode or 2 between now and then as well. So if you're new, welcome in to Flagrant Howls. If you haven't already done these things, you can help us keep growing the show by clicking the like button and the subscribe button on the Score North YouTube channel. And then you can give us a 5-star rating and a positive review on Apple and Spotify. This is your favorite Timberwolves lifestyle podcast.